Hello and welcome back to our read through of the entire Bible in the year 2026. We are moving into the last week of April and starting into May this week. And this week we are reading 2 Chronicles chapter 8 through chapter 29. Now, where we left off in 2 Chronicles, Solomon had just built the temple according to his father David's plans, and he organized everything and he got it ready and he prayed the prayer of dedication, and God's Spirit came down in fire and ignited the altar, showing that God had chosen this place as a place of worship. And now, as we're starting out reading in chapter 8 and 9, we see Solomon's grandness, his accomplishments, his wisdom with the Queen of Sheba bringing riddles to him, and his wealth, which was beyond measure. And we think that this is going to be really, really great until we find out that Solomon starts seeking other gods and turns away from the Lord. And when his son Rehoboam takes the throne, instead of showing himself to be a servant of his people, he tries to be a master and tries to punish them for asking for a little bit of a reprieve after his father's death. And Rehoboam ends up bringing the kingdom into civil war. And 10 of the tribes rebel and form the northern kingdom of Israel. Now, one thing with Chronicles is that it focuses now primarily on the southern kingdom of Judah and on Rehoboam's descendants. It doesn't really get into much of the northern kingdom of Israel except for a couple chapters where the king of Judah and the king of Israel are working together, like what happens with King Jehoshaphat allying with King Ahab. Now, one of the things that we see as we read this is that a lot of the times the kings of Judah, so every once in a while you get a king that's really good, he's on fire for God, he's trying to do the right things, but by and large, many of them are rejecting God. Many of them are seeking after other gods, or if they are worshiping the Lord, they are allowing for the worship of other gods. We even get a point where one of the kings dies, and his mother takes the throne, makes herself queen, and kills all of her children to secure her rule. And it is one young boy, Joash, who is just a baby at the time, who is kept safe from her, from Athaliah, and then he becomes king under the guidance of the high priest Jehoiada. Now, Joash does everything that Jehoiada tells him to until he gets to a point where he begins to try and think for himself rather than listening to his mentors. And we get to this point where so many of the kings are so wicked, where one of them, King Ahaz, is even sacrificing his own children in the valley of Gai Hinnom, where Jesus gets the word Gehenna, his word for hell. He's sacrificing his children to false gods. And then we get this point where we learn about King Hezekiah. And in chapter 29, where we're leaving off this week, Hezekiah comes in, he repairs the temple, and he restores worship. And Hezekiah is interesting because not only is he one of the best kings that the kingdom of Judah has, he's also, strangely enough, the one king that we have the most archaeological evidence for, which is kind of neat. But Hezekiah comes to power and reinstitutes the worship of the Lord, and he cleans up the temple, and he gets rid of the stuff that his forefathers have done, and he is going to serve the Lord. And that is where we have to leave off for this week. And we'll discuss the rest of Hezekiah's reign and what comes after next week.